So, I'd like to talk labels for a second. People are real quick to label shit up, label other people up, and label themselves up. And I'm gonna tell you why I think all that's bullshit, and I try and avoid it as much as possible, as much as I can. So, when you label someone else up as something, it can be very dismissive on the fact that they're a whole fucking human being. I mean, we put labels on all sorts of things, and labels and words are fucking beautiful. They're fucking gorgeous. They're phenomenal. We can do all sorts of shit with them. We can convey concepts and ideas and do imagining and create stories and create artistic expression and all sorts of beautiful shit with words. But just as beautiful as they are, they can also carry a heavy fucking cost when we use them in ways that divide. So, here's how using labels for other people is bad, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, labels don't even work for food. They don't even work for food. How the fuck can we expect things that don't even work for something so simple that we use every fucking day and take into our bodies that's not conscious, and it doesn't work there? How the fuck do we think we can do it with people? I mean, here, it's fine. Find some food. I got some cereal right here. Corn flour. Even just that, we could go and, well, how's that corn flour gotten? What's the fucking process? How is that corn done? Like, we don't know. Sugar, same deal. Brown sugar, same deal. Rice flour, same deal. Coconut oil, same deal. Oat flour, salt. Oh, at least that's kind of a simple one. Rolled oats, wheat flour, high fructose corn syrup, graham flour, honey, artificial flavors. Ooh, some natural flavors too. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, fortified with B vitamins. What? Well, how did they do that? Where did those come from? Was the process healthy? Well, I don't fucking know, but we put a name on the cereal box. This one happens to be O's. We put a name on a cereal box, and bam, suddenly we think we got it, and we know what we're eating. And then to define that label, we put all these little labels on the back, and a lot of them don't even say shit either. They just give you a very basic idea. So that shit don't even work for food. How the fuck could we think it would work for people? How could we think so? And it's easy to be like, well, fuck that asshole for doing that fucking thing, and that person's a blank. It's easy to do that, but it's dismissive as fuck. I get it. We're all protagonists in our own stories. We're all the hero. Everyone else is just an extra. But think about it for a second. We're all humans. Are you a human? Have you loved? Have you lost? Have you had guilt or shame or embarrassment? Do you remember that first time you fell in love? Do you remember that first time somebody died? Do you remember that feeling of loneliness? Do you remember that feeling of pure elation? Well, guess what? Every other motherfucker probably does too. Everyone does too. So you can fucking throw some labels on someone to hate them real quick because you hate whatever concept that you've attached to that label means. But that's not a human being. That's not a person, just like all that shit isn't what food is. It's not. It's not what it is. You label yourself up too. I'm a feminist. I'm a fucking whatever, liberal. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm fucking, a hardcore Christian. I'm fucking Southern Baptist, whatever. Religion, politics, point of view. I'm into solipsism, I believe in the idea of homunculi with our consciousness. Whatever you want to do. The thing is you're just putting yourself in a position of guilt by association once you throw a label upon yourself. Because any other person that throws that label on themselves too, no matter what they do, and they're not you, and you're only responsible for you. So no matter what they do, suddenly it's like, oh, that person did this. That person's in this category. This other person's in this category. Now sure, that's a logical fallacy of composition. Like X was in Y, person B was in Y, therefore person B is the same as person X. Oh, and that's the problem with labels. Right there. So why label yourself up? Why say you're this and that? Why make yourself have an image that you're portraying that allows people to use that image for their own perception of it and their own definitions of it that were defined by people that weren't you with that same fucking label? No, thank you. I won't take any of that shit. I'll leave the labeling to me up to everybody else. I'll tell you how I feel, tell you what I'm thinking, but I'll leave the labeling of what I am and who I am to those that are around me and interact with me. You know? It's not my fucking job. Just like it's not your job, and I won't label up other people. I'll fucking make note on if they stop interacting with me or start interacting with me, or if I have plans or times or my feelings about them. All that shit I can label up successfully because it's all me. It's all what's going on in my life. But I'd be goddamned if I ever fucking dismiss someone ever because they were a fucking Bible-beating Christian, or they were the X party supporter and I like this other party better. Like, fuck, man. Like, gee, it doesn't even work for food. It doesn't even work for food. So why in the hell would you want to do that to another human being? And I've said it before and I'll say it again. As soon as you point at any other human and say your thing X for reason Y, your negative thing X for reason I understand why, it gives someone a real quick right to turn around and point at you and say the same thing. Same thing. So fuck a bunch of labels for humans, man. Humans are beyond that. We're more complicated than that. You can throw whatever you want on it to try and deal with your reality, but truth be told, however complicated or in depth or whatever you think your emotions are, it's probably going to be the easiest life to be accepting and loving of others and give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they have as deep of a scope as feelings as you do. And maybe putting dismissive titles on them isn't the best way to connect and accept them and learn how they are complete human beings just like you are. And maybe throwing labels on yourself, I'm this or I'm that, traps you up in a judgment of perception of how the world is that does the exact same thing that it does the other way around. Just maybe. So, labels are pointless. Labels are just used to divide. Labels are used for fucked up emotional, justification for fucked up actions done from an emotional place. You want to use some labels? Start talking about concepts. Start talking about ideas. Start talking about how we can all help one another and do stuff for one another. You want to talk about labels? Start labeling up the way that you're going to make the change that you want to see in the world. Start labeling up your actions. Label up your feelings. But to say something is this, especially for a person, I don't believe you can do it. I don't believe you can do it successfully at all. Because as soon as you do, it's being super dismissive. Super dismissive that they're a whole human being. As soon as you do it to yourself, it's fucking volunteering for guilt by association for everything that label ever has connotations for. So if you think labels is where it's at and you got it all figured out, well, good for you. Get it all figured out. Do it. Do you. Be happy. Fucking whatever. But are those labels making you happy, or are those labels making you fight with someone? Are those labels bringing you joy? Are those labels bringing you grief? Are those labels bringing you hate for another person? Or are those labels having you understand that we're all the same? And we're all human beings, and we all want the same things. And we all carry things with us just like everybody else. So what are your labels for yourself doing? What are your labels for other people doing? Alright, love everybody out there. Thanks for watching me ramble about some labels. You're welcome.